we ain't screwing around on this one. This one isn't going to be like sad or depressing. This one's going to be pure anger. Because if you haven't figured it out yet, my number two favorite characters are Celestia and Luna, tied for second. They are both amazingly wonderful characters that you wouldn't think are actually that based on what the canon has done to them. And that's where this whole video is going. I have to start off with where I was with Celestia and Luna to begin with. Celestia, she was crap. Since the first, we'll say since like after the first season, yeah, she sucked. When I first watched the series, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, I was like, wow, Celestia does not do anything. She's useless. She sucks. Chrysalis wrecks her in one fight. She never wins any of her fights. The only person she ever beats is Luna. This character is ridiculous. She sucks. I always thought that about Celestia before. Luna was the complete opposite. I adored Luna from the first moment I saw her, and I thought that she was unfairly betrayed by her sister, and that kind of goes with the whole territory of Celestia just sucking. And a lot changed after I came back to the fandom. So I'll start with that story. So like I said, Princess Celestia in canon is atrocious. If you look at anything in the canon with Celestia, you're just like, oh, she dropped the ball. Oh, she messed up. Oh, after the first season and the second season opener, we got Chrysalis. Celestia literally just betrays Twilight and loses to Chrysalis immediately, and still wants Twilight to save everyone, and then doesn't apologize to Twilight. In season 3, she just sends Twilight to go do the stuff in the Crystal Empire. She transforms Twilight, but again, she does nothing to help Twilight with fixing the cutie marks. Season 4, where things start to get shaky for me, even more so as far as I remember. All I know is she does nothing against Tyrek. They just give their power to Twilight and are like, please handle this. She does nothing when Chrysalis retakes over and kidnaps everyone. She does nothing in the movies. She literally instantly gets captured while doing nothing but telling Luna what to do. She does nothing. She loses. She gets beaten. In season 9, she gets beaten by... Her and Luna get beaten by Cozy Glow because they're idiots and they don't know how to use their magic, or even like about Grogar's bell and that it can take power. It's just a mess. Canon Celestia, absolute trash. So anyways, what happened to me was I had a medical condition and I couldn't see. I was almost completely blind in both eyes, and I didn't have much to do. So I was like, what can I do? And I thought of fan fictions. And then I thought of Scribbler. And then I thought Scribbler made a whole bunch of really good fan fictions. So I started listening to fan fictions again when I couldn't see. And 3 that really hit hard, that slapped like super a lot, were these ones. Timeless, Lost and Found, and Into the Depths. Now, these are all incredibly good in their own ways. I'll give you a little rundown. Into the Depths is about Twilight going to investigate a thing with Luna in the Castle of the Two Sisters, the ruins of them, and they get they go missing. So Celestia goes with some of her guard to try and find them. And Celestia in this story is so freaking cool. In Timeless more focuses on Luna, but it shows just how great of a sister Celestia is and just how powerful she is. Again, showing how awesome she can be. And then Lost and Found is more of a story about Applejack and Fluttershy, but there are parts with Celestia and Twilight and them trying to help as well. And once again, it shows what an amazing character Princess Celestia is. When I couldn't see, got so much reverence and respect for the character that Celestia is, because I was no longer just buying into what the canon was selling me, which was Celestia literally is useless. Celestia in Fanon is generally so much more impressive and amazing than she is in canon. And it's really easy to prove that. Let's get into some of the things that canon shows Celestia and Luna are capable of, and what valleys, just abysmally low valleys, their character arcs go through. So Princess Celestia and Princess Luna in canon start out pretty decently. With Celestia, we get her being very dignified and royal and revered. As soon as she appears in the sunlight, all of the other ponies, all of the main six bow to her, except for Twilight. And then Luna's first appearances, she's Nightmare Moon, obviously, and then she gets transformed into her smaller form. But she's respected too. They like her as well. And one would think, okay, so this is royalty. These are the higher ups of the kingdom, literally the highest you can go. Let's see what they're going to do with them. And it doesn't take long at all for them to start bumbling them. As early as season 2, episode 1, Celestia is already just failing. She has in her care the elements of harmony, and she's placed them in a place that is apparently supposed to be inaccessible, and she gets them out so that they can use them, the main six, on Discord. Guess what? They're not there because Celestia failed to take care of them. Already, as early as the first episode of the second season, we're already seeing Celestia fail. And this is a failure, the first failure, if you don't consider her failing against Nightmare Moon in the initial episode as well. We don't really know if she lost against Moon in the first episode and Moon took her, but this is the first that you could say for sure, oh yeah, she messed up here. Then, in Season 2, Episode 25, a Counterlot Wedding, Celestia fails again, because as we all know, Cadenza, or the fake Cadenza, is Chrysalis, and Twilight calls her on that. And everyone turns on Twilight. Celestia bashes Twilight and tells her you've got a lot to learn, and then leaves her. And Celestia's just completely wrong here again. She instead of trusting her student, she decides to berate her and then leave her alone. And Twilight was right again. So Celestia is just an idiot here as a character once again, and that's not even all that happens in this climax, that she completely and utterly fails. Then, by some miracle, we get to see Celestia actually fight. And I say fight loosely, because all that happens is she shoots a single ray of light, of magic, at Chrysalis, and gets overpowered and loses. And this is by the second season, the final episode. How already is Celestia, because mostly Celestia, because like Luna's not even in this episode until the very end, and it's a joke, which is just as bad for her character because she's just not around. How do we already have Celestia failing to keep the elements safe, Celestia failing to to trust her student that she has already said she trusts without fail. Celestia can't even fight against a threat that is threatening her kingdom. She's failed on like 3 fundamentally easy levels this soon in canon. And it's like, so I really like Celestia, but how can you like a character that is just there to fail? And I'm not even done. I'm not even close to done. So then, in the season 4 opener, Celestia and Luna both get captured by Discord's little seed things that he threw out. So we've had thus far, after 4 seasons, Celestia is nowhere to be found in the opener of season 1 and does nothing literally on screen to fight or help. Season 2 opener. Celestia fails to protect the elements of harmony. She does send the letters to Twilight, but that's it. And that's the last she'll do of like anything relevant. Season 3 opener is she sends Twilight to the Crystal Empire. Season 4 opener, or season 3 ending with a or season 2 ending with a Canterlot wedding. Sorry, she loses to Chrysalis and she doesn't believe Twilight. Season 3 ending is Magical Mystery Cure, and all she does is make Twilight into an Alicorn. Season 4 opening, she gets captured by Discord's little plant things. And what really sucks here is this invalidates Celestia and Luna's defeating quote-unquote Discord with the elements of harmony, because this was all just according to Discord's plan. He didn't really care about being defeated or whatever. He was playing the long con, and he was just going to beat them here anyways. So, like, they even... one of the W's that the sisters have, it's like, no, that was actually according to Discord's plan. And then, we also get even more just horrible defeats. Celestia and Luna both give away their powers, their magic, to Twilight so that they don't get wrecked by Tyrek. Instead of, being able to beat Tyrek, they're like, what do? Let's just give our power away. Okay. And they just do that. And then they just get tossed into freaking Tartarus like a bunch of goofy idiots. This is like... So then, failures again. They failed in the opener to do anything and they got captured. They failed to... But they gave their power to Twilight. Yeah, Twilight doesn't even use their power to do anything. She gives it to Tyrek anyways. And then they get rainbow power and they win anyways. So, like, it did nothing. Literally did nothing. It's so dumb. So season 5 is when Starlight shows up. And the princesses aren't in the opener or the closer. But we get this instead. We get the Schmooze episode. And what happens? Celestia gets covered in it. And what happens? She literally can't do anything, apparently. So not only are we getting the princesses completely useless in the climax episodes and the openers, we're getting Princess Celestia just in general useless. Can't even, like, cast a spell because there's gunk on her horn. Like, I think Twilight's face sums up how I feel towards this entire situation. It's so dumb. It's so dumb how they're treated. Like, inferior to, like, so much stuff. And it just keeps going and going. I guess at some point the writers were like, what can beat Celestia and Luna that isn't even a villain? And then they were like, let's have them fight inclement weather. And then Celestia and Luna in the season 6 opener just got overwhelmed by bad weather. Celestia has control of the sun, or she rises and drops it, whatever you want to say in canon. Her power extends to heat, I would assume, but maybe not. Maybe the canon people are idiots and they're just like, she kind of just shoots beams out of her freaking horn. But this is what I mean. What do you expect from me? I'm supposed to like this character. I'm supposed to like this canon version of this character who is the embodiment of the sun itself, or is connected to the sun in a very intimate way, and her power extends to, I can shoot yellow beams out of my horn, and those yellow beams aren't even enough to beat clouds. Yeah, this is it's absurd. I'm sorry. This is Canon, Celestia, and Luna are dumped on so hard, and they're made to look so silly and stupid that it's just. If you like Canon, Celestia, and Luna, you are overlooking so much ridicule that is thrown their way, and it sucks. And of course, we got to keep this failure ball running, because then what happens? Then Luna, in the season 6 climax episodes of the end of the season, is shown to not even have control over her realm, the Dream Realm. She can be forcibly removed from the Dream Realm, just apparently dragged out of it somehow. And this isn't even considering that they're both just, Celestia and Luna are just captured off screen. Apparently they're replaced by Chrysalis and Changelings just off screen. Two most powerful Alicorns in Equestria. Oh yeah, they got overpowered by Changelings. Regular Changelings. Chrysalis didn't even have to go. She didn't even have to show up. She was just like, send them over there and we'll capture both of them. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is where we get to see this nerd. Right here. Right here. In case you didn't notice. Right here, Celestia is just captured. Because, like, why respect characters or have them important or anything? They could just, like, they raise and lower the sun. They've been rulers for 1,000 years. They defeated Sombra, apparently. They defeated Discord. Oh, I guess not, because that was just... Dude, it's ridiculous. Like, they're treated so crappily, like they don't even matter whatsoever. I guess for the sake of the main 6, I don't know why you'd have to destroy these characters for that, but apparently that's what you have to do. You have to make these characters dumb idiot losers that just suck in canon. So after all of that disrespect, they're definitely going to treat them good in Season 7, right? Actually, no. In Season 7, we get Celestial Advice, where Celestia just retcons the entire show. And then, in Season 7, the climax, they're not even there for Shadow Play, which is fine. I don't care if they're not there. But then, we get another one of these. Another slice of life episodes with the sisters. And guess what? We're not going to have them lose here. We're just going to have them be bitter and angry towards each other. They're just going to be douches to each other. They're going to not care what the other thinks. They're not going to... Starlight literally has to go and make them do each other's jobs so that they understand how hard the other's jobs are. Except Celestia was doing part of Luna's job for 1,000 years. She was raising and lowering the moon. And anything else that wasn't dream related, Celestia was more than likely doing too, because Luna was gone for 1,000 years. So the writers are clearly stupid. This was just really dumb. It was just an episode to make them look like they didn't like each other for a lesson that is idiotic. And unfortunately, this isn't even the last slice of life episode we get between the sisters. We get another one in Season 9. And I'm not talking about that one, because that one is awful. And if you like that one, I'm sorry, but you are awful. You don't like the sisters very much. That episode is such a travesty of an episode. It paints them in such a poor picture, and all for the sake of a it's just awful. It's just pure awful. But let's not even... I'm not even done yet with all of the disrespect the sisters get, because this is when we go into really high gear. So after Season 7, we got the movie. And for sure the movie would treat them well, wouldn't it? I mean, oh no, there goes Celestia turning to stone within the first couple of minutes. But Luna, yep. So then in the movie, we got both sisters turned to stone within the first, 10, 15 minutes of the movie? And then they're just stone the rest of the movie? That's what we're getting out of the entire movie with the sisters. They're just beaten by Tempest Shadow. A joke of a character. A joke of a villain. They're not even beaten by the frickin' Storm King, the actual villain of the movie. They're beaten by doofy idiot pony that doesn't have a horn unicorn. Fantastic. So we're just going down to the depths now. We're just kicking them as they're lying bleeding on the floor. Okay, what else can we do to them? In the climax episodes of season 8, a literal child who doesn't even have magic, who doesn't even have magic, who doesn't even have magic, a literal child who does not even have magic is stealing the magic from the world, and the sisters are literally powerless to stop her. They can't do anything. Look at these goofy idiots. Look at these goofy idiots marching to Ponyville because I guess they're deciding not to. Who even knows? Who even knows with these goofy idiots? They can't use magic though. They're just walking. They're just walking because they're powerless to stop a child who doesn't even have magic. A Pegasus child. This is how far the sisters have fallen by season 8. Not even able to help stop a child from taking the magic. They're just walking like a bunch of doofy idiots. My God. But hey, at least they didn't... Oh, they did lose to that child. They literally got their magic stolen directly because that child had a bell. A bell that just defeats the sisters. So, let's see. The sisters literally beat no one. I mean, the Sombra thing you could say that they have, but that was not shown in canon. Discord, that was not really even a legitimate win because Discord clearly didn't care and then would have just absolutely destroyed them later with the seeds. Chrysalis beat Celestia. Luna wasn't even there. Regular changelings overpowered them. Tirek, they gave their power away and it didn't even matter because Twilight ended up beating him with the rainbow power. Who else is there? Cozy Glow beat them with the bell, and before that was going to literally take all of the magic away if it wasn't for the young six. I guess Celestia beat Luna, Nightmare Moon, with the elements, and then even in that case, not really. She just made her leave for 1,000 years, in which case Luna came back, or New Moon came back, and then it had to be Twilight and them to beat her. They didn't do anything as far as winning or like anything like that, or even succeeding in any sense of the word. All of Celestia's quote unquote success came from asking Twilight to do things. And like, it's so wild and so bad that most of the fans that have watched this series have just literally gotten to the point where they're like, oh, well, it's probably because Celestia knew, so she... Yeah, I did the same thing in my stories, because what else do you do? What else do you do with these characters? If you like them, like, in canon, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. But they're written so atrociously bad as far as actually liking them goes. It's like liking two losers. There's no way you can consider them anything else in canon, unfortunately, because the writing for them is so atrociously bad that they're just losers. And I'll just show one simple, easy to understand scene to prove that fans hold them in such higher reverence than the writers of the show ever did. I was thinking of dropping some excerpts from Into the Depths and Lost and Found. In Lost and Found, the dialogue and the expression of Celestia and her basic carrying of herself is so very brilliant. It works on so many levels. It's amazing just to hear her talk, to see her talk, to read her dialogue. In Into the Depths, that's also true, but also she's incredibly brave, and she doesn't fail in that herself. She ends up doing what she has to do to save the day and to save Luna and Twilight. I was going to read excerpts from those, but I think I'm just going to read an excerpt from one story. That story being Timeless. And I want to read Timeless because it shows just how powerful Celestia is by some of the fandom. And remember, Timeless is not a story written for Celestia to be the main character. The main characters in Timeless are Luna and an original character called Shifting Sands. So even in this story, where Celestia is not the main character, I wanted to read this. The night sky was abruptly blotted out by a light emanating from Canterlot Castle, causing the ponies at her side to shiver. The temperature abruptly skyrocketed, golden magic diving down to line the street they were on. Windows were forcibly closed, and powerful shields encased the group in a rectangular funnel, protecting the oblivious inhabitants on either side of the street. What is? A crack sounded across the night. The sound barrier shattered as a glowing orb impacted the street in front of the group. Cobblestones melting into molten slag. Eyes slit and ablaze with rage, the Alicorn in front of them glared at the assailants with a merciless gaze. Orange and yellow armor covered an alabaster frame, as though forged from a solar flare itself. The metal greaves, breastplate, helmet, and wing blades poured forth fire as Celestia took a few steps forward, her mane an inferno. The tranquilizers in her system had since been burned away as she opened her connection to the sun, the raging princess staring down the group of assailants. A bold pony lunged forward with an enchanted spear, but could only let out a choked scream as the weapon in his body melted to ash before it even got close to the Alicorn. 3 ponies yanked out familiar red crystals, the powerful spells activating with a high-pitched whine. "There, now get her," a pony called, but the bravado was shattered by the sinister laugh that left the Alicorn's mouth. "You all have forgotten, haven't you?" Celestia asked, striding forward to confront the still stalwart emissary. Levitating the 3 active gems close, Celestia examined each, the only sign of discomfort a slight wince. Melting under her gaze, the gems shrieked as their magic was released, the artifacts joining the molten sludge underneath Celestia's hooves. "Did you think you were the first to try such tricks on me? Or the second? Or the 100th? Celestia growled, levitating the emissary into the air. "Your masters have forgotten why they don't set a hoof in Equestria, haven't they? Then pass along this reminder." The mare let out a shriek, fire beginning to burn away her frame, hooves being eaten away by the inferno that ignited underneath them. A slight strained laugh left her, however, the defiant mare then glaring at Celestia. "We'll be back. You can't kill me or my masters," she hissed, eyes widening in horror as Celestia's gaze bore into her own, no mercy behind the black and fiery gaze. "Perhaps, but I can burn your form, your masters, their home, everything. I can burn it over and over and over again until they get the point," Celestia hissed, fire continuing to eat away at the emissary's limbs. "Tell this to your masters. They can send their assassins, their armies, their legions against me. I will withstand them all, but you will stay away from my sister, from Shifting, from Twilight and her friends. You will not touch them." The ethereal mare let out a final pained shriek of agony, fire burning away her frame into mist, magic escaping her broken body with a thunderous snap. As Celestia's gaze then turned to the 40 ponies frozen in place, the temperature began to rise once again. "You wouldn't kill us. We're your subjects. You're merciful," the nearest pony stuttered, the hateful gaze of the Solar Princess now locking with his. "Mercy? You tried to kill Twilight," Celestia whispered, her horn igniting as a solar flare surged from her body, swirling around her flame like a living animal. The directed inferno then charged, blasting through the shielded street as the stars above were blotted out for a moment. Funneled like water through a canal, the inferno burned away flesh, metal, and bone, leaving not even a speck of ash on the glowing glass that had once been cobblestones. 3 ponies still stood, however, legs quivering as a golden shield surrounded their frames. Fire still wreathing her body, Celestia stood over the terrified ponies, letting out a snort that sent flames scorching across the barrier. "You," she growled, removing the protective shield. "You 3 will go to the Badlands, every tavern, every black market, and deliver this message. I want every hired blade to know what happened here. I will find the ones who trained you in time, rest assured, but I want every creature in every slimy hole to know what I will do if I find them assisting these Wendigos. Do I make myself clear?" The three nodded, staring at Celestia as she encased them in a teleportation matrix, sending them hurtling towards the southern border. Taking a deep breath, the ruler let the flames bleed from her frame, her magic removing the ash and reforming the warped streets, cobblestones taking place of a pure glass road. The golden shields were then removed. Any curious inhabitants that then looked outside would simply see their ruler calmly trotting down the streets towards the train station, the only remnant of the encounter having been a strange hum outside of their homes. So as an Immortal Sisters fan, everyone has a choice. You can like the canon Celestia and Luna, you could like the comic Celestia and Luna, or you could like Celestia and Luna from other things like the fan fictions. Canon Celestia and Luna, yeah, they lose a lot. They couldn't beat Chrysalis. They lost to Chrysalis twice, in fact. Celestia lost to Chrysalis 1v1. Then she was captured, and so was Luna, captured by Chrysalis. They couldn't do anything to Tyrek. Tyrek was coming, and Celestia literally... They all just gave their power away to Twilight because they were like, we can't beat him, too strong. They couldn't beat Discord. Celestia had the girls handle it, and then if you want to consider before when they used the elements, that was all part of Discord's plan. He ended up throwing the seeds, and that would have beaten Celestia and Luna anyways later. They couldn't beat Cozy Glow. Cozy Glow was going to steal the magic the first time. They lost their magic, and the second time literally uses Grogar's Bell to defeat both of them at the same time. That's just their fights. What about when they're just slice of life? You have stuff like a royal problem where they're at each other's throats and they just dislike each other so much and don't care about the other so much that there is a friendship problem, not even a familial problem, a friendship problem that they can't handle themselves. And this is after 1,000 years separated, by the way. You look at Sparkle 7, again, Celestia just doesn't listen to Luna because why listen to your sister? We're just gonna... We have learned nothing. Then there's that other episode I don't talk about in Season 9. Again, just fighting with each other and being bitter and unhappy with each other. That's canon Celestia. Oh wait, I forgot, the movie. Immediately getting turned into stone, both of them, and not doing anything the entire movie. So you could like that. You could like canon Celestia, or comic Celestia and Luna, which I'm barely familiarizing with, but I'm already like, this is hilarious because they're just a joke, and they don't really do anything in the comics either. Or you could go with Fanon Celestia and Luna, where, don't get me wrong, fan fictions are not all great. I would go so far as to say that probably the vast majority, 95% plus of fan fictions are not great. There is so much garbage out there, and yes, those garbage ones, everyone sucks. They're bad. People shouldn't read them. There are so many filthy, questionable, just downright should not exist fan fictions. I understand that. I implore you that if you are looking for more in-depth, great stories for these characters, to look for specific fan fictions. Because yes, there is a lot of garbage out there. None of it deserves to exist. But the special ones, the ones that are good, those ones are worth your time. I'll link the 3 that I mentioned in this video. But yeah, you heard how insanely cool Celestia is in Timeless. I didn't read it to you, but the other 2, Celestia and Luna, are just as cool. And that is what made me love them. That is what made me put them as my number 2. That is why they will probably always be my number 2. I love the sisters, and it's easy to choose. The canon does them no favors. The comics do them no favors. The fanfics that are good, that's where you want to go if you want to see the true potential of Celestia and Luna. Also, thanks for watching if you're this far in. Hopefully you keep watching and keep enjoying.